But no, I kept seeing your clips online. I was like, damn, I actually agree with some of the things you're saying. I was like, I gotta stop being such a raging bitch. It's not healthy.
Sure. I mean, I don't think being a raging bitch is bad. It just depends on, I guess, what your beliefs are, right?
I think logically things have to make sense. And I think for a long time, like when you're passionate, you just become very delusional. And I think that's an excuse that people tend to use. And I think I was using that for a while. And then you get challenged by other people because I wasn't new to the whole streaming space. I mean, I was a nail tech. So to me, it's, you go from being a nail tech to being a sacer. Everyone's just like debating all day long. And then when they challenge you and you can't argue it back, you're like, oh, wow, I feel very stupid. So
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's never happened to me, obviously, but I've heard that experience with a lot of people. No, yeah, but usually when you get challenged by people, there's like one of two paths you can go. You can either try to, it's okay to be emotional in the moment. I get upset at the moment it happens, but then you either figure like, okay, well, do I need to reconsider some of my positions and kind of like rethink some things, or do you like dig in your heels, screech as loud as you can and stop talking to people you disagree with? It's like that's always like one of two paths you can choose, basically.
yeah, no, I think like even last night I was with somebody and she does OnlyFans and I got dragged for that, and I was like, wait, why am I getting dragged for this? And I realized like because I think I've mentioned before like how aggressive the manosphere is right now, or like the mainstream manosphere of it. I don't know if this thing is slowly going down, if it was already like that, but I think like once you dip your toes into it, they kind of force you to follow whatever rules they've set, which a lot of it is just kind of like I don't know, it's a bullshit ideology they've created mainstream wise. I don't really align with it, so I think right now I'm being called a grifter, which it's been very interesting. So apparently that's my new title.
Yeah. How did you even, what was like your introduction into this space even? Because I'm guessing then, if you said you moved here 10 months ago, you got under Fresh and Fit before you even lived in Miami, right?
Yeah, I did.
What was like your entry point?
Well, it wasn't even on purpose. Like for me, I think like I'd mentioned, like the manosphere Redpill is like kind of ghetto, to be really honest. And I grew up in poverty, so a lot of the things that they said, it did match with me. And I was like, wow, I kind of aligned with this stuff. But then you kind of grow and you evolve, and then you realize that you don't really fit with this. And my family, my fiance was like, dude, like we don't live by those rules. Why do you heavily feel? I'm like, but passionately to the core, it does make sense. But to a certain degree, I just started to realize like that doesn't really match me anymore, because I'm like arguing with people that are being super biased, and I'm like, wait, why are you advocating for like the password bros? And they were like arguing with me on it, and I was like, wait, aren't you the same people that say that men are logical and women are emotional? Right now you're not being very logical. So I started losing, I guess, faith in the space, and I think that's the stuff that happens behind closed doors that nobody really sees. So then I'm just a grifter online now. So yeah, it's hard to change your mind because people will interpret it different ways sometimes. Like it's funny because it's kind of the opposite of what you would want a reasonable person to do. Like I think growing and changing your mind over time like shows your ability to accumulate new information and then integrate it into your your brain and then kind of like change accordingly. But some people just want somebody who's been saying the exact same thing for 10 years, and it's like, I knew who I was like even 5 years ago. I was a fucking moron. Like I hope I'm not the exact same 5 years from now, right? You learn and you grow things. But yeah, it's very hard to do that in an online space, because some people will accuse you of being like a flip-flopper. Yeah. Like I'll have people attack me. They're like, oh, well, so for instance, my stance on like deplatforming has changed quite a bit. And people will come out like, oh, well, you said this in 2018. And it's like, yeah, I changed my mind since 2018. Like, what the f*** to say? So people will accuse you of either flip-flopping for no reason or grifting. Like, oh, I don't think you believe this. You're just trying to get in with this crowd. And it's like, well, what can I possibly say to convince you otherwise? Like, if that's what you think. You can't convince a lot of these people. And I've mentioned before, it's like, I don't even like financially make money online. I like make money in real life. So for me, it's like, I kind of do this because I actually enjoy talking about this, and I kind of like growing in the space. Also, I think it's improved my relationship with a lot of people around me. Like, I think since I've changed my views, been more open, I've been, again, building bridges with more people and having more of an open mindset. And again, I'd mentioned on my story, this guy was like, ew, you're supporting an OF girl. And I'm like, isn't the same guy, don't you guys bring girls like this on the panel all the time? Is that the assumption that you all of them too? So why do you guys get to associate with these women or girls or these as you say, but when I'm with them, you're assuming everything of the worst. Like, why aren't you guys open to having like open conversations? And it's been truly disappointing to see, like, I guess it's like, what did I say? It was like finding out your favorite song was like made about a sandwich. Like you move in and you find out everything. I was like, wow, everyone f***ing sucks. Yeah, there's a lot of I feel like in Redpill in general, there's a lot of like who hurt you energy. Like a lot of it feels defined by bad relationships or by like a truly ghetto outlook on life sometimes with how the people talk or move. And then you bring up that good point too, because I'll be on these panels and I'll ask a question. I was like, how long have you guys like been, like, what's your longest relationship? And it's typically 6 to 12 months max on all of these panels. And I was like, this is supposed to be like, some of these are like, they call them just like the premier dating shows. But like you guys aren't like wifed up with a, you know, super low body count virgin tradcon woman that's like, it's all OnlyFans girls, strippers, dancers, and it's like, which is fine, by the way. I have no problem. I think it's cool. I like OnlyFans girls. Okay, I like strippers and dancers. That's fun. Well, I don't do strip clubs or anything, but they're fine. But when you guys are like so harshly judgmental of it in one breath, and then in the next breath, these are the people that you're showing off on your Instagrams and everything to the world. It's like, what is, but
like, I know a couple of girls that had cried off the shows, like even dealing with like MLD and stuff. And for me, it was like, oh, damn, okay. So now I have to be super calm in these spaces since these guys are being super, I don't know, they're being super evil in the spaces. I don't even know the word right now. I'm stuttering on it. But I've seen the way they conducted themselves. And they're acting more like women, more than the girls on the space do. So I'm like, okay, I like a good challenge. So I've challenged myself for the past 10 months for, I don't know, just in general. So even for moments like this, I was like, I don't want to be like a dumbass the next time I talk to somebody.
Yeah, it's one of the annoying things that I pointed out. Did you see the big episode that they had at the Valuetainment Studios?
Which one?
It was like Fresh Fit and Adam Sosnick, and then like 50 girls.
Oh, the collab. That was...
I don't know how many people are aware of this, but like it's intentionally set up like a movie. We've got like 3 heroic guys and like a legion of like 50 women that they're supposed to just like basically, you know, chop and slash their way through. And just the way that they set those shows up is so annoying. Like I noticed, as I pointed this out about an hour, and I noticed that like Myron would ask a question where he'd say, how do you feel about this thing? And then you'd go down the line of girls. So first, like after one girl has given her answer, everybody kind of feels like they want to give the same answer. Yeah. And every now and then, so not only is it kind of hard to buck the answer that's being given by like 5 girls in front of you, anytime you give an answer that is contrary to them, Myron's going to be like, whoa, hold on. What did you mean by that? Why did you say that? Well, what's your stat for that? This is why women are too emotional. Well, like he would like grill the out of like any girl that gave like a contrary answer. And they're set up to like, so when you're invited on these shows as like, I don't want to say nobodies in like a mean way, but you've got like these guys that are really famous, and then you're just like random people that they found on like Instagram and other walks of life. It's like you're not ready to step into like the Thunderdome with Myron Gaines and like have like this epic one-on-one debate. And then the thing that triggered me the most too is, I don't know if it was Myron or Adam that said it, when they were like, oh, like this is what we mean when we say that women, you know, don't have to do anything and men have to. Like the men are sitting here because we're special and talented and famous, and the women, you're just here because you're women. And it's like, what a self-report. Like that's because you chose to invite these people. Like
yeah, that's why I've mentioned that I don't want to go on those panel podcasts anymore, because I don't really understand the purpose of it. If it's just entertainment, like I think it's important to note that and for everyone to highlight that, but I don't really see an impact in those types of conversation. Like I'd mentioned, like it's not really a dating podcast, because I don't see anyone like, yo, I like your body count, let's sleep together. Like I've never seen anyone impressed with like their dirty skeletons coming out of those types of podcasts. And everybody has already made up their mind. They're arguing in bad faith. So to me, it's like, I can't even get a word in. If I go in deep in any subject, that's all right, let's change the subject. Let's read the TTS. And I'm like, oh, I see now. But I think all the people that watch this stuff behind the scene, they don't really know it, because like until you're there and you see how people are when the camera's on, when it's off, you don't really know this. And I think somebody was saying like, oh, you're just mad you didn't get what you want from it. I didn't know what the I was getting. I was just going into the space because everyone said you should. Like a innocent Bambi, I went in there. And that's why I really hate the impressionable stuff now more than ever, because they say they want these young impressionable girls, but it's not like they lead them into a lifelong of like happy marriage or even safe space. You bring them in there, you destroy their egos and everything that they have of their innocence, and then what happens? Yeah. You troll them online, you have these terrible like thumbnails. And it's like, why would a girl, you never see those types of girls go back on those podcasts ever again. It's always the ones that have their purpose to be on there, which is the OF girls. So.
Yeah, the thing that you said about like calling it a dating podcast is always like the funniest part to me, because it's like, where is like the dating advice? Yeah. Like it starts and stops with how to hook up with as many people as possible. And I guess they do like a real estate investment podcast too. But like, it's not even just Fresh and Fit, but it's almost like everybody. Like nobody talks about what does it mean to be in a relationship? Right. What does it take to maintain a relationship? What are issues you run it? Like none of them. I wish they wouldn't call themselves dating podcasts. They can call themselves Redpill shows or whatever, I guess. But like nothing they talk about has anything to do with dating whatsoever.
No, and the questions are very aha-like. So I do recognize that now. I didn't know that before. Like the questions, they would set you up to, I don't know, essentially kind of, you would fail. If you're not smart enough to catch that these questions, like if someone says like, you know, like women are emotional, and I'm like, wait, men are too. Like, but you would just say, oh yeah, you know, I am emotional. So you just kind of confirm that and not realize, you know, what they're saying. You could definitely like counteract them on it. But I don't think a lot of people notice that. And you bring it up and then there's a whole dog pile. But it's okay when men dog pile women. But if women do it to men, it's a big deal. Yeah.
And even that, I've noticed that's a trick I try to call out whenever I'm there. When people say like, oh, women are more emotional than men. And it's like, that's only true if you don't count anger as an emotion. Because if you count anger as emotion, men get very angry a lot, right? Yeah, and you see it happen, yeah.
No, that's for sure. Damn, I was gonna ask you something.
What?
I'm just thinking about the whole Miami experience. Like, that's cringe. And all of the things that they talk about in these podcasts, like, it's just not real life. I'm thinking about my whole experience here, and I'm like, damn, I haven't been in any of these experiences for them to say that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. There's like so much, and it gets really frustrating. You said something earlier that was kind of weird. There's like sometimes people will start making arguments, and I don't even know where to start because they're like so fantastic. Like I remember I was on a show once and with Fresh and Fit, and they're like, to truly know if you like a girl, you have to fuck her first, which is just like, I'm a horny person. I fuck a lot of people. That's fun for me, but I would never say something that fucking retarded. Like, of course you know somebody before you f them. What a weird thing to say. And as soon as I brought up, because I was like, oh, like I think there's ways to know before. And they're like, well, what? How could you possibly? And I was like, I don't know. Like if you have chemistry with the person, and like all of them started laughing, and they're like, what is chemistry, dog? And I'm like, what do you mean? Wait, what are you even talking about? or like them talking about like the whole like, oh yeah, like it's really well accepted that women will share a high value man. Like every woman knows this. So like multiple women will be okay, like all dating like this. I was like, no, what are you talking about? Like this, no, this doesn't happen. Like outside of like these spaces, you know?
It's a ghetto mentality. Like, everything they say, it's ghetto mentality. It's like a pimp mentality.
Yeah.
Like the type of girls that they want that are like innocent and impressionable they're not going to share the guys that you think they will. I mean, and if they do, it's more so not so innocent because she's probably a sugar baby or gold digging.
Yeah, that. Or it's like the types of girls. That's another thing that sucks too, is that it's because of the girls in these spaces. And with those types of girls, yeah, probably. However, dating to them is like you guys like once a week. And then like maybe you get a meal. I don't even know if they do that, right? But like it's literally that. Like these guys are on shows saying like, yeah, you should never live with your partner, and it's like you guys aren't even like dating. It's not even like, yeah, that's it. I feel like I've been on multiple shows where I've asked like, what is dating to you? Because it sounds like dating to these guys is once.
Yeah.
Like I dated this girl. No, you didn't date that girl. You hooked up with her. Or like I'm dating like 5 girls right now. No, there's a few girls that you every now and then. You're not dating any of these women. Yeah, but it's just it's wild. And again, like to be clear, I'll reiterate again. If people want to say that they do this and this other their lives, whatever, that's fine. But don't present this as normal. It's like it's not. It's actually insane. Yeah, like it feels like sometimes like the entire Redpill movement is based on like fucking Andrew Tate's like YouTube videos. Sometimes we're like, oh yeah, like this is a normal way to live, and it's like, no, what are you talking about?